So now we move to best practices sharing session 4. So we've already heard, and this is where, sorry, just to recap, this is where each of the partner universities are sharing with us all examples of what's working really well for them and how they've gotten to there, and, you know, maybe also some of the barriers along the way, and some of the, you know, so we can learn from each other's experiences. We've already heard from Trinity, from Utrecht, and from Montpellier. So now it's the turn of Barcelona, and I very much welcome our speaker today, who's going to present Sustainability through Service Learning in Environmental Sciences, Teaching Social Responsibility. Such an important topic for what we can do as universities. I mean, this is one of the most important things we can do as universities is to teach and inspire social responsibility. So I really look forward to hearing your presentation, Mireia. So Dr. Mireia Esparza, she's in the section of Teaching and Learning of Experimental Sciences in the Faculty of Education at the University of Barcelona. Welcome, Mireia, and over to you for your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Paula. I share my screen. Wait. Oh, I think I can't. Disable. There is a message that I can't.
It should happen
share.
in a second. Emmanuel, can you make sure that?
Well, try it again. You should be able to share.
It should work.
Okay. Okay, now.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Share. And are you watching it?
Yes, perfect.
Okay,
Mireia.
perfect.
Loud and clear.
So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Paula, and the organization for allowing me to present you our experience at the University of Barcelona. I will present to you a subject of the degree of environmental sciences that had been transformed some years ago into a service learning project. The subject's name is Sustainable Development, and it was added to the degree in 2007 when the degree was redesigned. This new subject was introduced as a compulsory subject in the third year of the degree. It takes just 4 months in the spring term. And at the beginning, it was taught by professors from 3 different faculties, biology, economics, and geography. And now the geography professor is retired, and me moved to education faculty. So we continue being professors from different fields working together, because we understand that sustainability is a complex topic, and it needs to receive input from different fields to be understood as a whole thing. And it also brings different ways of thinking, and sometimes even different languages, because we talk in different manners and we understand the world in a different way. We plan the subject as a mix of 4 different points of views: environmental transition and how citizen engagement is a key in this transition, social metabolism, nutrition, and population. We talk about all these items by means of theory classes and practice classes with databases of demographic data. We also have field trips to visit agri-food experiences in the surroundings of Barcelona, or a trip related with social struggle against waste incineration, also here in the surroundings of Barcelona. And we also analyze some works published by the World Watch Institute in seminar sessions in the small groups with all the students. Every year at the end of the term, we asked students for their comments about the subject, and they like it. It was a very appreciated subject. But students every year ask for more contact with reality, more participatory activities. They want that these activities make them face real world problems and real and problems of their communities, not whole world problems, but sometimes in a local way, some problems that they can solve. And they also didn't really know how they, as environmentalists, will work towards a more sustainable world. They don't know how, or they didn't know how they can apply all they have learned in a local scenario, because all the concepts, all the ideas that they are learning in the degree were theories or were referred to a global situation, and they don't know how to apply them into a more local situation. And then one was when service learning came to us to solve all these issues. Just briefly, because I don't know if everybody knows what service learning is. Service learning is an educational activity that combines learning processes with community service in a well-structured project. In this kind of projects, participants learn contents and acquire competencies, skills, in this case of this subject of sustainable development, working on real needs of their environment, their communities, in order to improve them. Of course, it sounds sometimes like voluntary service. It's not voluntary service, and the main difference is that there is a structured learning process. Of course, in a voluntary service, people learn a lot, but in service learning, we know what we want that our students will learn, and we have very clear the concepts and the capabilities and the skills and competencies that we want that they acquire with this project. So in this way, they are working on SDGs, but applying them in a local way. So in our subject, since the year 2016-2017, this academic year, students work in a project with a social entity, and both the entity and the project must be related with sustainability in some way. How do we do it? Well, this is more or less the plan of the subject. We start with some theory classes, just 15 hours, more or less, depending on the year, in which we explain them and to the students the complexity of sustainability, how to face it from different point of views, with the point of views that I mentioned it before, economics, social metabolism, nutrition, population, education, many different issues. And in the first session of the theory classes, we also explain them how the subject will develop and what service learning is, and that they will work in a project. And of course, they have the option of don't choose to make a project and go to a final exam, and that's all. But most of them, almost all of them choose to develop the project. After the theory classes, we set up a one morning workshop at the faculty. It is an open seminar to all the staff of the faculty. And in this seminar, the entities explain to our students in which projects are they working, what are their needs, and how can students could help them. That day also, former students also explain past projects to this year students. And we also used to have a guest speaker that examines an issue related to sustainability in a more global way. For example, Somehow last year, I think so, 2 years ago, there was a member of the Council of Barcelona that told us about how the city was facing the 2030 agenda at the city in a more complex way. After this seminar, the students have to choose the entity they want to work with. They pick 4 entities in order of preferences, and we always recommend them to make a choice according to their main interest. Not, I want to go with my friends. No, choose what you really are interested on. And then the professors assign groups of 4. Well, sometimes are less, are 3, even 2 to 5, but more or less we choose 4 is the perfect size to the entities, and then they start the work at the entity. First, they contact with the entity, start planning the projects, and in this first contact, they also analyze the entities. They perform a SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats of the entity, and relate the work of the entity with the SDGs and specific targets of each goal to analyze deeply how this entity is related to sustainability and to SDGs. This is, for us, the part of learning that they are doing in the project, because they have to learn how to relate a concept like SDGs with reality. With all this work, each group prepares a first report and present this report in small groups. More or less, there are groups formed by 4 or 5 little groups, entity groups. There are 20 students, more or less, each group. And in this presentation, both professors and the rest of the students discuss the report and suggest changes to the Planet project. After this moment, each group develops the project with the entity. Sometimes, because of questions of time, there is no possibility of developing it to the end, but at least the students might leave the project fully planned for the entity, and sometimes in a future they will apply it. Not every project could be applied in this. We just have 4 months of subject, so it's a very limited time. At the end of the course, there are 3 sessions, long sessions, where students present their final projects and the obtained results to all the classmates, to the entities, representatives, and to all the faculty staff that wants to attend this session. It's open to all the faculty. And these projects are also written in final reports. Both the first and the final report include a reflection section where our students explain how the project is helping them to learn sustainability, how they are team working, how this way of working changed them as a future environmentalist, etc. This part of reflection is a very important part in service learning projects, because reflection helps the students to learn more about what they are learning and how are they learning. And we think that this is an important part of this kind of projects, to reflect about what are you doing. And lastly, just mention that along all the project, there are tutoring sessions, at least 4 sessions, but they can ask for more. And we talk with the professors and the teaching and the students, and even with the entities, about how the work is developing, if there is any problem, if there are problems in teamwork, that it's a usual problem, the teamwork. Well, just to solve them and don't arrive to the end and then appear all the problems that have been during the project. And of course, there is a subject and there is a student work, and we have to evaluate it. And the assessment of this subject is a little bit complex and even crazy. We evaluate, of course, the theory part at the end of it. Then we evaluate the reports, both the first and the final report, and the presentations. But not only the professors evaluate, also the rest of the other students evaluate the projects, because we think that their evaluation is a part of their learning. They learn to evaluate other projects, and of course they are focused in just one project working, and to read about the projects of all other colleagues make them learn more about sustainability also. And then, sorry, professors also evaluate the evaluation that the students do of the final report. There is also an evaluation of the teamwork. The students evaluate their colleagues of the same group. And finally, the entities evaluate the how the service have gone, how the students have worked at the entity, etc. Here you have some of the entities that have been, no, all the entities that have been working with us this course, this course that now is finished. Some of them are new, and some of them have been with us since the very beginning. There are entities that some year may not be chosen by the students, so the actual entities change every year, but there are some of them are always chosen because they have very interesting projects to offer, and they have a great success among our students. And I have a couple of examples of projects of this year. This is one. This is with Somas Cage. Somas Cage is a very small entity from a village near Barcelona, and they are working on ecological agriculture. And they ask our students to recover grounds on which they want to develop a project of environmental education with the schools. Our students organize a work day with volunteers to arrange all the grounds, and they also prepare different activities for the children to teach them about biodiversity, ecological agriculture, and sustainability. So they do a double work. First, to arrange the grounds, and second, to prepare all this education material to work with the schools. And another example, and is probably the best work of this year, and there are just 2 students, Mar and Clara, and they work in, they made a research about the journey of electronics used at our university, from the source of the raw materials to the management of the waste. They do a great research work, and they found that most of the raw materials came from Africa, and oh surprise, some of the waste also ends up in African landfills. So they found a circle, but not a very sustainable circle. They wrote a report for the entity, and they contact with different organizations to try to analyze the official knowledge about these illegal practices, because it's illegal that European waste goes to Africa. They participated also in a workshop organized by the Barcelona City Council during the Mobile World Congress. This is the Mobile Social Congress, and they present the results. So they do a very amazing work. Along these years, quite different projects have been done, from creating games to educate children and teens about the SDGs, to organize workshops in ethical finances, at the faculty or auditing the canteens and the reprographic and documental management of the faculties. They even organized a zombie escape in a neighborhood near Barcelona to raise awareness in young people about the contamination generated by an incineration plant. This entity have problems to make their message arrives to young people, and they help them with this zombie escape. And as you can see, there is a lot of work, both for the teaching staff, both for students, but it appears to be working in this way, improves learning, at least the perception of learning of our students. This is a survey the results of a survey that we passed to the students about how they perceive their knowledge of some of the skills and of the contents of the subject. And the first column is before the application of the project, of the service learning project, and the two last columns are after. And as you can see, their perception has improved, and their satisfaction with the subject also has improved. Thus, for us, service learning improves both the students' learning, their development, their knowledge about the complexity and richness of the subjects, and their capacity for initiative and ethical positioning. But also for the academic, for the teachers, it's a good way to work, because it promotes that the transfer of knowledge arrives to everywhere, and as a university also make us to contact with reality. We are sometimes closed in our buildings at the university, and open to the society and work with the society, not only for the society, but with it, makes the institution strong and more real for people. And of course, we want, as Paula said at the beginning, that we want a social responsible university that makes the knowledge available to society, that creates new knowledge, but new knowledge that could solve social needs and generate a social wealth to everyone, that develops the capability of analysis, critical, creative abilities in our students, and that a university that participates in social transformation processes. And we always want to have in mind that we are training people, not just students or future workers. We are training people, and these people is the ones that in now and in the future have to apply all this knowledge in the society. And just to finish, here you have all the staff that has participated in the subject since the beginning. We couldn't arrive here probably with all the effort. To all the entities that have participated with us and wanted to collaborate with us, sometimes with an extra work for them. And of course, to all our students that have participated and offer their emotions also to the subject. And that's all. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. So open mix. I stopped sharing.
Great. Thanks a million, Mireia. And just to echo what Mireia just said, please put your questions into the chat and I'll help relay them to Mireia. But first, while we're waiting for any questions to come in, I'm eager to respond to you, Mireia. That was such a beautiful layout of this experience that you've built over so long. And there's so many aspects that I think are exemplary in it. it's innovative and exemplary in terms of pedagogical practice. But one thing that really struck me that I loved was you saying that students ask for more. They're all asking for more. And that has been an important part in building the program over the years. And also the bringing together then of sustainability and community engagement. And you gave such a great introduction to service learning and how service learning really is the university reaching out into the community. And as you say, working with the community and not the community. So this is just such a perfect example. And here in Trinity, we're starting a new initiative, or we're in going into a new phase of a new initiative called E3 for engineering, environment and emerging technologies. And we're going to have a learning foundry within that and new courses being added. So I am certainly going to on my list of people I want to talk to, and also to link you up with our academic practice department, because I think we have a lot to learn from you. We all do.
Thank you.
So let me see if there are any questions. No questions on the chat yet. So are there any things we should bear in mind to avoid if we're going down this road? What are the pitfalls? What are the things we should be aware of?
Well, it's it supposes a lot of work for teachers. Wow, the evaluation is crazy. We have an Excel, a huge Excel with all the marks, with all the parts. Maybe we think that we have been lucky because the students of environmental sciences are special students. They are more concerned about environment, about community. They have a social vision that some other students don't have. And for us, it was pretty easy to convince them. We offer the first year. I think that two of us, of the teachers, didn't sleep this night. The night before, we have to explain to the students what are they going to do, because we were really scared, because if they wanted, they didn't want to do it, the subject fails, it doesn't have a success. So this is for this part we are pretty lucky. Then the collaboration with the entities. I think that we have to recognize all their work, and at the end of the term, we always have a meeting with them to say thank you, to talk about how all the projects have been worked, if there was any problem, to take care of the entities and engage them to the university. For some of them, it's important to be engaged with the university, because for them, oh wow, the university, this entity, so in the castle, are coming to us to ask for help. But we also always try to take care of them and give them their importance. They are really important for us, and that their work is important for the society. So we always recognize it to them. I think that it's a thing that we have to have always in mind.
Yeah, very true. I see Michelle has asked very importantly, that this is such a great example, and do other universities have examples of the similar types of programs? And while it'd be great if we could hear from the other universities, but while that's coming in, I'll just mention.
Well,
sorry.
We know that there is a Chile, the Chilean university that came to Barcelona, a professor of the Universidad Tecnológica Metropolitana, came to Barcelona for a visit, and we talked with him, and they replicate our experience at their university. Fantastic. And it's working very well too. So he's pretty happy, and we stay in contact for all the problems that he has to face and we have to fail to find signatures.
That's an important part of your work as well. The fact that it has been, your model has been taken on and replicated everywhere. I mean, that really spreads the influence of what you've done. Here in Trinity, I don't know of such an extensive program as yours. We have small examples of it within certain disciplines. And I'll just give you one example that I really like, and that's it's a collaboration between physics and education. And we have students who study music and education. So they have very high performance levels of music, but they're also studying education. And they collaborate with physics students and interact with local schools, so inner city Dublin schools, maybe in disadvantaged areas. And they bring the children to the National Concert Hall, so our best concert hall. There they teach them about physics and music and the interaction between the two, and really, you know, interact with them. And it's a great name as well. It's called From Quavers to Quantums. So you know, there's lovely little examples, but I think a big program like yours is something we should all be inspired by.
Well, in the University of Barcelona, there are service learning projects almost in every faculty.
Right.
Most of them related to the university students go to the high schools to explain, I don't know, any issue that they are studying at the university, but in a high school level to other students, and it's a really nice project. And I think that many faculties, I think that almost all the faculties are related in service learning projects, and I think it's a good way to teach our students this social responsibility that they have. Just because they are in a public institution, in a university that it's from the state, so they have to return to the society or they have reside.
And I'm sure there's examples across our partner in our universities in UNI-ECO as well, but we'll be inspired by your program, Mireia, and I'll
thank you.
I'll go on end there because we've gone a little bit over time, and thank you very